Yeah. Fresh, fresh, ah, fresh, 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 ah, fresh,
Oh,
fresh,
oh.
fresh, ah, fresh, 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 ah,
Hey,
fresh,
hey,
fresh, fresh, what? Fresh, fresh, fresh. Welcome to Fresh Friday. We hope you guys are having an amazing Friday evening right now. If you guys do not know, we are the Fresh Friday crew, and we just love coming to you every month just to give you some laughter, give you some love, fellowship with you guys, and have some great conversation.
Yeah.
Up here, I have my incredible sisters in Christ. Up top, I have Sister Ashley Lovelace.
What's going on, y'all?
And below me is my little sister in Christ, my Shania, Miss Nine.
Hey, y'all.
If you guys do not know, I am Brother Kevin, and we are just so happy that you guys are tuning in. As Pastor Nick always says on Fresh Friday, please make sure that you are liking, commenting, and sharing. For all of my faithful Bethany members that are tuning in, welcome. Just so happy to see you guys. Hope you guys had an amazing week. This week has been a stretch for me, but I'm so happy to be here on Fresh Friday.
It has been. It's been a long week, but a good week.
A long week, but a good week. And like the older that I'm getting up, the older that I'm getting, excuse me, I am just so grateful for the long weeks because that means I've been productive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And productivity is key.
Yes. So we want to know how you guys are feeling. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time tuning in, please make sure that you put the VIP in the comments because we just want to love up on you. Just to, just start your weekend off right with the Fresh Friday crew. There's no other crew to start it off with, right?
No.
Period.
The best crew around.
Yeah.
And we have Sister Sakura joining us, looking all fabulous.
Where's ministry?
Yes. Come on. I didn't know we was coming dressed tonight.
I know.
Yes. I don't go nowhere, so I gotta show up for Fresh.
I'm here for all of it.
Right. I'm here for it. Yes. And also I just want to shout out, see you, Sister Keisha, tuning in. Shout out to you. But as always, like I said, Fresh Friday, we like coming up here, laughter, some great conversation, some shade. But the shade people are not here. The shady people are not here. So I think we're good. Off the shade tonight.
That's what you think. So he might pop up.
Oh, right.
He might.
That is true.
Watch it.
You just never know. But again, we are just so happy that you're tuning in, hoping that you are having a blessed day thus far and just starting off the weekend right? So as we always like to do, we like to start off with the one has to go. So are you guys ready for this one? We want you guys to, your comments too, one has to go. But I think I'm ready for it. You guys ready?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
Oh.
This is easy for me.
Oh, okay. So Kevin English is in the comments, so the shade is here. The shade is definitely here.
I'm here.
Oh, Lord.
The shade is here. Kevin, I got you. We here. But no, shout out to Kevin English. So one gotta go. So y'all may hate me for this.
I probably won't.
The one that can go for me could be watermelon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I'm not a big. Hey, Sister Vanessa. I'm not a big water. Like it's good, but I can eat it for so long. Now, strawberries. That's my favorite fruit. Pineapple.
Come on, minister. Yeah.
Kevin said strawberries had to go. Boo.
Oh, he's tripping. He lost his mind.
No, you're telling me to log off, Kevin. You need to log off. I am so thankful that you are tuning in, but now you need to log off because you are just crazy. You talking about strawberries has to go? He's crazy. He's never had some strawberries and some grapes together or any what? But yeah, so for me, it has to be watermelon. What about you, ladies?
I'm gonna have to say goodbye to the bananas, but that's only because I'm allergic to them. So that's easy for me.
See, that was easy for you, Ashley.
Very easy for me.
Nana.
Watermelon. Gotta go.
That's
Wow.
I'm not a big watermelon fan. Now, when it comes to watermelon
crazy.
flavored things, sure. But like watermelon itself in this group, yeah, it can go. It definitely can go.
Wow.
It has to go. I'm so sorry. It has
It's
to
the
go.
wow for me.
Right. It's the judgment for me.
Like, are you kidding?
Because I love watermelon. Like watermelon, I think, well, you know what? I think it's because I love barbecues. And when I think of watermelon, I think of barbecue. They're synonymous with one another. So I think that's why I'm like, wait, for real? But yeah. I still love y'all. It's okay. I still love y'all.
Kevin said we can all go to the same church. Sir, you can just sit on the other side. You don't need
to get rid of strawberries. Like, what?
Right. There's
I would have accepted his
sanctuary is
answer
so
if he
big
said
you can sit on the other side.
He said strawberries out of all the fruit on there.
He's definitely
downright delusional.
No, my
What about you, Shakira?
I mean, like, I like grapes, but
oh no, Shakira, please don't do it.
Don't break my heart.
Wait.
Did she just say I like grapes? But
I feel like I need the citrus, like the orange.
Friends.
I mean, I just feel bad for getting rid of the oranges, so the grapes gotta go.
But like, see, I was rocking with the sleeves, but at this point,
right, she came in all, all fly and everything, and now it's just like, ma'am,
you took it too far. That was a bit much.
All the other stuff that was up there.
Yes, you just cannot, like, I can just eat grapes like it's like chips. Like
grapes?
Yes. I love grapes.
No way.
Like,
I'm hurt. I feel like that was a personal attack on my life, actually.
Me too.
I would have accepted if you said banana or watermelon, but grape?
No.
Yeah, I definitely thought you were going to say banana.
How you take communion?
I mean, oh wait, are we talking like all grape products, or are we just talking?
I'm just saying, like, grape.
Well, no, I don't think you can say that because some people like ketchup, but they don't like tomatoes.
I am one of those people.
And I like grapes, but I mean, I actually eat oranges a lot, so I don't know.
Yeah, I bang with you with the oranges, especially the little tangerine there. Like, I can oranges, pineapple, strawberries, and grapes. I can eat all the time. You know what, Kevin? You can just the shade is definitely
Bishop.
He's telling Bishop.
Wow.
And why the Bishop is going to agree with our selections?
I mean, you could just join the panel, Kevin. I mean, you can always come and sit in the hot seat if you want.
Oh my gosh. But no, let us know in the comments which one can go for you. I saw Sister Keisha said watermelon. Yes, Sister Keisha, you are with us. We're not going to even address Kevin's selection, but let us know which one has to go for you guys. So as you guys know, Fr3sh Friday, we love just coming on here and just having a great conversation, especially millennial talk. And something that as we get older, something that we always talk about, just whether it's us outside of church, just with, coming together and just having a conversation, is about, maintaining and starting new friendships, especially adult friendships, right? And, also being mentally strong when it comes to, maybe losing friends or gaining new friends or starting a new life somewhere and, developing those new relationships. So let's talk about that tonight. Like, starting and maintaining those adult friendships, because I would never listen to people when they would say, like, all the friends that you got in high school, like, you ain't like, y'all not even gonna be rocking with each other like that when you get like 21, 22. And I'm like, no, like, I got a core group, like, we solid. But then, like, as you, even a year after graduation, you just start like going in different directions. And, sometimes you can sit back and be like, wow, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why am I, like, why are these people dropping like flies? Like, why are these friendships dropping like flies? But I think it's because we just go in different directions. And sometimes for us, it can be hard because I think like we try to hold on to the years with friendships. And something that I learned is that when it comes to friends, I don't always look at the years I've been friends with someone. I look at how many times they showed up for me, or how, how they've been 10 toes down before for me, or has always been in my corner to encourage me, to also, celebrate my wins, and also wipe my scars when I have some loss, right? So I tend to look at the years when it comes to friendships anymore. I look at who's been there in my corner. But go ahead, guys. What are your thoughts about starting and maintaining those adult friendships? And how important is it to you guys?
I mean, I think I'm in a unique situation because prior to me coming back to school,
yes, first off, let's congratulate Ashley going back to school. Shout out to you, Mama.
Go Jags. I think before, in a completely different state, mind you, I was very much like, no new friends. I'm good. I love my circle. And I'm still very much like that. However, when you're in a new state where you don't know anybody, you're kind of forced to be put out there to meet new people and start to forge new relationships. And I'm so grateful to say that since I came down here, first of all, people down south are way different. They're so nice. They're so kind. I have been able to meet a lot of new people very easily. And it's like I said, the culture is different. So people are like, oh, wait, you're from Jersey. What made you want to come all the way down here? And then, a conversation starts and you find yourself gravitating to people that you find similarities with. And I'm like, you know what? If I was back home, me and you would be like this. You get to know those new personalities. So I am enjoying getting to know new people, because when I first came down here, I said, look, it's nothing but books, school, graduating, I'm coming back home. That's it. I was not interested in expanding my circle. I actually prayed before I came down here, and I said, look, on this new venture and this new season and this next level that I'm going into, God, if the people that are around me are not for me, they're not with me, remove them. Like, that was how I was before I even came down here. Like, I was ready to shed layers, and God has been removing people, but he's also been placing people in my life as well. So I'm grateful for the dichotomy of the two.
Yeah, and that's the scary part too, because you in that secret place where you're in that time with God, you're saying like, you start revealing some things to me, and then people start dropping. You be like, hold up, I don't think I was ready for that big reveal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're never really, even though when you ask for things, you're conscious, you're asking for them, but you don't. When it happens, you're never like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on, this kind of happened a little bit quicker than I thought it was going to happen. Okay, God, I see you, I hear you, but warn me next time. Like, warm me up a little bit. But yeah, no, when you say remove the people, off the chopping block.
Bet, got you.
Got you. Which one? Where you want me to start?
Right
at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. He don't waste no time.
He don't waste no time at all.
No time.
God don't play about his own, for sure.
It's like he be waiting for us just to say like it was already done. I was just ready to like do it. Like it's already happening.
If I'm honest, when you're in that place, I think it's vulnerability, right? So it's like, even though God has placed you in the position to maybe cut off that friend or cut off those individuals, you personally were not ready for it yet. So you going to him in prayer and saying, hey, listen, okay, I see that you're trying to do something in me. I want to be able to avail myself to you and walk your will, not my will. So remove anything that's not like you, remove anyone that's not like you from my life. And he's like, oh, you sure? You positive? Because you said it. I didn't. I might have put it in you, but now you're ready for it. And since you're ready for it, then he can cut it. And then it's like, okay, it hurt, but I'm okay.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And something I do want to put out there too, it doesn't always have to be a negative thing. Like, you may grow apart from someone, and that's okay. And like you don't have no beef or nothing. It's just like you guys just went separate ways. You guys don't click anymore. Like you guys don't relate anymore. So it's also that. So you may have a negative experience with someone, but you also could have where it's just like, we just don't mesh anymore. And I'm not growing by doing the same what I used to do, But go ahead, Shakira.
I don't know. Like, I think for me, it's been, as I've gotten older, I guess I'm blessed because I really do have the same friends. I have the same friends that I've had since I was little. Like, I absolutely have the same friends. And even my high school friends.
Come on.
I keep up with them, like, not as much as we used to, because now everybody is like married, kids, moved out of state. Everybody is like spread out. And it's weird because when I talk to most people, it's like, oh, I don't know what the people from high school are doing. Like, I don't know them people. So it's just like, what? Like, all my high school friends are like my Facebook friends. We don't talk as much, but like we still check on each other and like, oh, congrats on this. So it's like good to see everybody just like flourishing and thriving, and people may have got, I guess, cut off. But even those people, I know recently, like over the pandemic, I had such a weird experience because it was like certain people that God was leading me to reach out to. Because the friendship ended, but the way it ended was like sour. So I think I was finally mature enough to kind of own whatever part I played in that. And it was like, yo, like, that was wet. How are you? You know what I mean? Like, we ain't gotta like be buddies again. We don't even have to like catch up. But just know that, you know what, I was wrong when I did that, or that was not cool. Like, I responded out of hurt, or I respond, you know what I mean? So, and even my long-standing friendships, we went through a season where it seemed like we were like light years apart. But I think it was just God doing individual things in us and just realizing that every relationship has to be tested, even your friendships. So sometimes, even in people where you're like, oh, that's my ride or die, like, we've been through fire together. And it's like, we might have been through fire together, but we were never each other's fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some friendships, you think it's super strong, but that's because y'all have never bumped heads. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's of course, like, that's your ride or die until y'all have beef.
Right.
And then it's like, how do we overcome that? How do we overcome misunderstanding? How do we overcome not being able to see eye to eye in this circumstance? So I'm just grateful where I'm at now. I finally feel like, okay, the people that are in my life now are supposed to be. You know what I mean?
That's so true. And I love that you touched on that because it's so funny. One of my closest friends just sent me something on Instagram. We always like sending like inspirational things. But it was this guy, he was just like he has a podcast, and he was just talking about how so many friendships ended without having that conversation. And it could have like been, saved, or they could have, like, people could be in a better spot if they were just willing to just be, like you said, Shakira, own up, like, I own up to my part, or have a conversation and have the adult conversation. I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't do or realize, that like, I'm one, like, let's put it all on the table. Like, I'm going to admit my wrongs. You, whatever you want to admit, but I'm not going to carry it, because that can lead to my own toxicity, me continuing to harper on the situation, or harper on how we left the friendship or what happened in the friendship, right? But I think that's so true, like what you said, like just being honest, right? And we have a premium comment that says, sometimes hanging on to those old friendships, even though they're toxic, is more about your insecurities than the friendship, which is so true. That's so true. Because how many times, like, we we project our own insecurities onto a person or a friendship, and it's just like
that's the quickest way to ruin one.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys. So when it comes to having these friendships, and not being friends with a certain person anymore that you may have been close, no matter what the reason was, if you did experience, how did you mentally stay strong during that time? Because people, even though it's not an intimate relationship, it still is a relationship, and it's very important to you. So how do you stay mentally strong during that time, or how did you stay mentally strong? How did you keep yourself like, dag, like this may have been a person I was talking to every day. We'd invented about some things. We just shared so much with each other. Like, how did you stay mentally strong during that time, or what did you do to stay mentally strong? Don't all go at once.
I don't know. For me, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if guys feel the same way, but I know as a woman, it's like our friendships are very important and like grounding. So to lose a close friend is like a death. It's like, I almost went through a period where I had to like grieve the friendship. Like, man, like this person, like we got history. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like weird. It was like, okay, what does this, and you kind of have to guard your heart in the sense that you don't want to become like stony and just suspicious of everybody, because sometimes when we go through like hurt or a loss, a betrayal, it can make you so suspicious, and it can keep you from developing new friendships. You know what I mean? Like God will send people into your life that you need for that season, or it's just like, if you look at your life as like a novel, it's like you don't know that your closest friend doesn't show up till chapter 10. But you know what I mean? Like you might have had to let go of the people that you called your bestie earlier on in the story, because he was sending somebody that was like, the Jonathan to your David. And if I'm still carrying the hurt from the previous experience, I may completely miss this blessing because I'm just like, oh, so-and-so used to say that looked too much like, and you just be having like this wall up, like, nope, no new friends. I don't need nobody. I'm good. Like even at the,
we always be saying that, like, no new friends, but then
some of the nicest people I know ended up being people from my job, and I am the queen of, I'm just here to work. I don't need, don't follow me. I block everybody on social media for my job. Like, nope.
I think there's like a boundary. Like you gotta, like for me, like I'm very vocal. I'm a people person. I love talking to everyone, but I also sit back and I assess too. So like, I know like how, like I know how far I'll let a person get to me, how close I'll let them get to me. I can be your friend, we can be cool, we can bust it up, but it's depending on how you move and how I see you act with other people is going to teach me how to handle you accordingly. So here, I'm like with you, like I was the same way. Like I keep my work separate from my personal life, but there's people from work that I really developed strong friendships with that have taught me things that have been actually a mentor, especially in my career, have been a mentor for me. So, but it all goes back to having that assessment and not allowing everyone to be in. I think sometimes we just like open it all up, like, oh, let me tell you, but you can't be like that. You gotta just, it's like when you go to the shore, the water is cold at first. So you gotta put your foot in and just stand in there for a little bit until you warm up and just take that dive. Right. But I think assessment for me is very big whenever I come across anyone. Like I talk to everyone. I'm very friendly, but I like to sit back and assess, people like that. But go ahead.
I mean, I think, I don't know, kind of to piggyback off of what Shakira said, like, I think women are a little different than men.
Absolutely.
I can definitely, right now, even from an old job that I had what I used to call her my work mom, because she was like around the same age as my mom's age. And like, to this day, like, I've been to her kids' graduations. Like, I went to go before I even left to come down here, spent some time with her. And like, she stuck with me for life. I told her, I was like, you're stuck with me. You're never leaving out of my life. But then there are people that I guess it's weird. You could say like you go off of like energies,
Oh,
like
no, I'm big on energies.
When you get around somebody and it's just like something don't smell right, something about you just is not proper. It doesn't,
okay.
and
I'm like, wait.
Not like actual,
like who
not like BO.
Right, who must be?
Oh my
God. I mean,
gosh.
not like that. But like something about your personality just doesn't smell right. Like like not a physical stench, but like a spiritual stench, if you will. Like something about your spirit just is not right. And although they might come up to you and no, but like although they might come up to you and like greet you every day, like, hey, how you doing? And they seem really, really nice, but something in you is saying, yeah, no, not that one. I'ma stay over here. You sit in your cubicle, I'ma sit in my cubicle, and we gonna be all right. Like I'm starting to pay more attention to that kind of energy as I get older, because I'm the type of person to give 3,000% of myself off the cuff. Okay. I treat people how I want to be treated. So I'm going to give it all up front. Once you cross me,
that's it.
Once you cross me,
you're done.
That's it.
I forgive. I don't forget.
We can forgive.
Forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is key, but for me, it's like I had to learn how to give of myself in dosages, because not everybody's worthy of all of you.
Can we pass around a collection plate? That's a word. Come on.
I had to learn that, and it took me a long time to learn that. Not everybody is worthy of everything that God has poured into you to give out. Not everybody is
on the back.
They're not ready for that. You know what I mean?
In the back.
But as within learning that over time, I've come across some great people and people that have been able to pour back into me, because it's a transference, you know what I mean? Like it goes back and forth. I've come across some really great people that have been able to pour back into me that I can learn from, and they can learn from me, and we've been able to grow together as we're growing, amongst other things. So that to me is more important. I need people in my circle around me that I can add value to, and they can add value to me. That's it. And that's all.
No, amen. And that's so true, because that's what, if you think about it, any relationship is like that. So whatever is poured into you, you got to pour back, whether it's an intimate relationship, our relationship with God. He pours everything into us. So we should pour everything back into him. So that's the same with the friendship. Like, if you're there for me, I have to be there for you. And for me, the biggest thing is the little things that you do that shows me, like, I think people be looking for like this grand gesture, like, oh, but no, like it's like the little, it's the showing up for certain things, or just the reminder. If someone's going for a job interview, sending a quick prayer in the morning. It's just the little things that really, really show a person's true character, right? But go ahead.
Not to sound real deep or anything, but I think in times of me going through transitions with friends, prayer has always been one of my greatest strengths of, just being able to find out information for myself on what to do. And like Shakira said, even me and my mom, we have a lot of great conversations. And amongst those conversations, when it comes to friendships, my mom always tells me, like, at a certain point, it's basically you grieving the loss of that friend. Yes, while they're still physically here, but at the end of the day, it's no longer what you thought it was. It's no longer what like you thought it was going to be. So it's just, taking in the realization of that and allowing that to sit with me. And then like even what Lovely said, I think anybody who knows me like to the core knows I would give you the shirt off of my back. So it's just like I give too much of myself a lot of the times. Like I can meet you and be like, all right, we cool, and like honestly within like the 5 minutes, if I find out you need something, I'm going to Target and I'm getting it, you know what I mean? But it's like at the end of the day also learning that like there's a boundary there as well. I can be there for you, but I don't have to give all of myself to you, because at the end of the day I'll feel drained and you'll have everything, and how is that fair? So I just think so more so just allowing my prayer with God to become like, very abundant has helped me a lot with my friendships, because to be completely honest with you, if I didn't have it, I don't know where my mindset would be, because you just go through a whole frenzy of, but I thought we were this and I thought we were that and we talked every day and I never would have done that, and I want to talk to you again, but you know what I mean? So it's just I think it's just a lot that goes into it.
So there's a premium comment that basically says that we may be using the term best friend too loosely. Can we like break down these definitions of what a best friend is, what an associate is, and also can we kind of like highlight that it's okay to have associates? It's not saying that you don't like a person or anything, but you just associate them, for certain situations and stuff like that.
Why is Ashley knocking her head so hard?
You may have associates at work that you're friendly with, but you only associate them with them at work, So can we like define that and how we use that?
Let's start with associate first. Associate is what?
An associate.
You shook your head. There we go.
An associate is somebody that you see frequently, right? So y'all share the same space, whether if it's at work, at school, at church. You guys have some type of commonality between one another where you guys are around each other often, right? However, this associate, however, this person is not invited to the barbecue. This person is not coming to weddings. This person is not coming to baby showers, cousins' birthdays, auntie birthdays. This person is not going on vacation with you. This person is not showing up at your graduation. You say hello, goodbye. Y'all talk about work. Y'all sit, eat, drink coffee on break time. That is your associate. That is it. That is all. Once you clock out, once your class day is done, that's it. You don't see them again until the next work day or the next class. That's it. That's all.
So what's a friend? What's a friend? Not a best friend. What's a friend?
Okay, so I think a friend is someone that you kind of let step into your life, right? Like, so they do get invited to those events, but in the same token, you still have a boundary set up for them. Like all of us have friends that we're friendly with and stuff like that, but do you tell all your friends everything?
Nah.
So that's basically.
I'm gonna tell my best friend everything.
Oh, okay, friend. Okay.
It's everything is not meant for look. The one thing I have learned, okay, because I'm getting more keen into listening to what God tells me. God tells me to be quiet a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. True. And there are times where I'll want to say something or I'll want to speak my piece, and God will be like, Ashley, shut up. And I'll be like, okay. And I won't say anything. Sometimes things aren't meant for people to know, even if it is your best friend. Even if it's your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, like sometimes things are meant to be kept to yourself. And when it's time to reveal it, you'll know.
And that is true. Like, I do agree with that. But I feel like some people like if you have a best friend, because I truly believe that best friends can be soulmates, because like they are someone that balance you out. And sometimes for me, I strongly believe that sometimes you got to let things out. Like when you keep it stored in your head, just repeating it, driving yourself crazy, you'll just like be like, oh my gosh, like you'll start thinking things like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm looking at the situation crazy. So like, there's like on one hand, like people that I could be like, yo, I know, but in the same token, like you said, Ashley, it does come with prayer. It does come with patience. And it also comes with like, okay, going back to that assessment, like I got to make sure they're going to be able to handle what I'm going to tell them, because you don't want them to mishandle it or look at you differently and stuff like that. So I definitely do agree with you that it's very important to assess like what you say to your quote unquote best friend. But I also don't think it's a problem to share those things, because sometimes when you keep things locked and bottled up, it's like a soda. You keep shaking it, and then once you open it, that thing's exploding, right? So what can we do before that explodes, right? But go ahead, Shakira.
I don't know. For me, I kind of treat it like the temple. Like, you know how how you had like the outer court, the inner court, and then like the holy of holies. That's how my friendship tiers is set up. It's like, even with social media, because I post a lot and I talk about a lot that goes on in life, and so people will misinterpret that as like we're friends. Like, you know how on the internet folks is like, yeah, like, why you don't do this? Why, ma'am? It's an app. So sometimes you gotta like remind people, like, and that might just be an age thing, because like my daughter she will rebuttal that all the time, but she's 15. So all of your friends are virtual. It's like, you know what I mean? Me, like, no, you're real friends. And it's like, these are my real friends. So there is like a generation gap, because some things is like, just because I put that on social media doesn't mean you get to come to, my birthday party. Like, it's like, I went through that at work. I remember I turned 30 and my coworker pulled me to the side and was like, I really feel some kind of way that I was not invited.
Really?
I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, we work friends. And she was like, like, just distraught. And that's when I knew, like, oh, okay. So I could be somebody's friend and not know it. Like, like, oh, I was in your friendship bag and I didn't know I was in your friendship bag. So then I felt awkward. Like, okay. I wholeheartedly agree with Ashley about the associate thing, because it's like, okay, we're associates because we have the same class. Like, we have the same roster, we have the same major, so we're gonna see each other frequently. We're serving on the same auxiliary, so we're gonna see each other frequently. You may not be the person I call if I'm like stranded by the side of the road.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me see if Christy from accounting can come by here and pick me up. No.
Right.
But then you have like my inner court people are my friends. These are people that know me. These are people that have more than likely met my family. These are people that have attended personal events, whether it was birthday parties. These are people that have come to, see about me, see about my family. My mom know your name. Like,
because that matters.
Like my parents know who you are. If I say, "Oh, Keisha," they know. Like, "Oh yeah, what's the name, daughter?"
Not the second my mom say, "Who that?
Who's that?" Oh, don't.
Who's
somebody from work.
Sorry.
Somebody from work. That's a totally different thing. And then, like, the inner court friends are the friends that have not necessarily been my friend the longest. In my case, it happens to be that way, but really, these are the people that have been tested. You know what I mean? Like, these are the people that have been tested. I don't have to talk to them every day. The older we get, the less we talk. Because my friends now, we all at that age where it's like, if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening. So if you want me to be there,
y'all getting up there, because that's how my friends and I are. We have to schedule. Like, all right, this weekend, like we like a month away. Like, this is when we're going to see each other, because we're all spread out.
Yeah, so like you gotta kind of like coordinate schedules now. But it's like, these are people, even if I haven't talked to them in 2 weeks, I know if I call and say, I need you, it's like, okay. So that's kind of how it is for me. But also being married, things changed, because I have a best friend, but it's weird. Like my husband, I don't like to say he's like, because you can be married and still have a best friend. So that's a whole nother.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a whole nother Fresh Friday conversation. But it is certain things where you have to develop boundaries, because in terms of where in my teens I probably overshared just because I ain't know no better.
I think we all did. I think we all.
Yeah, everybody's done that for sure.
Yeah, now that I'm older, it's like, okay, if does sharing this violate the privacy of my marriage, or does this violate my husband's privacy, or you know what I mean? Because where before it was like, girl, tell me everything, and it's like, no, I give you the cliff notes, like
the
cliff notes, the summary.
Right, you're not getting the full. And I think that's what's so important to, when it comes to maintaining those adult friendships is, also you can also set those boundaries with your best friend, like you said, Shakira. Like, it's not like I have a husband now. You are married, so it's like, you're not gonna get everything. You're gonna get the cliff notes. So maintaining those friendships, those adult friendships, are so important. And what I love, what you talked about earlier, Ashley, was how you're starting school and you say like, I'm not going to meet no one, da, 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 da. And then you get there and you just find like people, like they just attract, like they're just attracted to
falling out the sky. Like I
think that was my biggest my biggest thing when I went to college. Like there was like a couple friends that we did all our classes together with, and it was so beautiful because it was like our community. Like, yo, did you do this paper? You didn't, like, we work together, and that's the beauty of certain things like that, especially like college and stuff like that. But there's someone out there for everyone. Like there's someone out there to always talk to and have a friend or associate, whatever you want to call them. But I think it's very important when it comes to maintaining those adult friendships is setting those boundaries and assessing those things, right? So it's so crazy because something that I saw on social media the other day was to always remember that you have people in your life for a season, for a reason, and for a lifetime.
Come on for the church of Instagram.
The church of Instagram. There be some gems on there. So, and that's what I always like look at. If there was ever a time I was friends with a person, and I may not be as close as I am to them now, they were in my life for a reason, because I learned something from that friendship. So I never like regret friendships. I never regret falling out with people or like growing apart from someone, because there was a reason for that. There was a reason for that moment where I had to grow. There was a reason for me realizing, because it also helps you internally. Like if we grow apart because you're going this way and I'm going that way, that just showed me that I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm going to have expectations that are different from you. So it's also an internal thing. It's also a self-assessment. I keep saying assessment. So let's talk about self-assessment now. It's a self-assessment for me that like, okay, no, we're going two different paths, and that's okay. So I always look at every experience that I have with someone that they're either in my life for a season, which could be like when you're in college, right? Or in high school, they're in for a reason where they help you grow and learn. And then you have those people that are like your road dogs, like in for a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
So what can we learn from like the fallout with a friend? Like what is something, if you, not saying that you guys had any fallouts or anything, but what is something that you learned from that? Like like I said, for me, it showed me that I have different expectations and I want different things from other people. What is something that you learned from maybe a falling out or, growing apart from a person?
I've learned that I too can be the one that doesn't meet somebody else's needs. So like sometimes it's not always about, as hard as of a pill that is to swallow, sometimes it's not always about what the other person has done to you. Sometimes you are the cause of your own heartache. Sometimes you are the cause of the problem. And if you can't take a moment to step back and say, okay, what did I do something wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And if I did do something wrong, what was it?
Yeah.
And how do I change so I don't do that again? And even if that severs what I did, severs my friendship, how do I make sure that I don't do that to somebody else so I don't lose another friend? So, like, I think a lot of times we look at friendships that we lose, and it's always the friends that have done something to us. But we rarely ever talk about the times where you hurt somebody so bad or you did something that was so off the wall that that person felt like, yeah, you know what? I don't need you in my life anymore.
Yeah.
So learning that lesson that I am capable of not being able to meet somebody else's needs or meet their expectations was a huge lesson to learn. Because it's like you think, okay, I go to church, I pray, I do what I'm supposed to do, but we're not perfect. We mess up too. So that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned.
Okay, awesome. Shania, what about for you?
You know, I'm still over here thinking, but I think for me, when it comes to friendships that I have fallen out with, it's like a little bit of what Lovelace just said. Just accepting fault of your own as well, which sometimes I feel like I do a good job at doing, because in the midst of it, I'll just be like, okay, this is like, let's just call what it is, you know. But I do think that there has been not opportunities. I do think there were times where I haven't, and I kind of like played more victim than what I might have also done. But also really realizing too that I give too much of myself.
Yeah.
And that has been a big thing for me. So just, you know, learning how to scale back and allowing myself to understand that it's okay to scale back. It's okay to say no. Because I think sometimes you give too much of yourself in a friendship. And when it gets to the point that, like, you can't really fault the person for expecting you to give that much of yourself. That's all they've known of you the entire time that they've known you. You know what I mean? So I've also had to teach myself, like, okay, I'm cool with you, love you wholeheartedly, but there are some boundaries that I cannot let you cross because it's going to do me dirty in the end.
Absolutely. Amen. And last but not least, Shakira.
That was so good. I think just like a mixture of everything the lady said, like taking ownership of the times that, you know, I was the villain. Like, because a lot of times when we tell the story, we're always the victim, but there is
but for real though.
That's so true.
For real.
That's something that God was dealing with me over the pandemic. I mean, and I had to reach out to this person, and I'm like, it's been years.
Yeah.
And I've always told the story from this angle. It's like, and God was like, yeah, but you left this out. You left this out. And I had to come to her and apologize. Like, listen, like, we still not going to be tight. Like, pause. Like,
make no mistake.
Make no mistake. We will not be besties anymore. But it's like, I was dead wrong. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm the villain to someone's story, whoever that may be. And so I have to own that. And then in the cases where we didn't necessarily end the friendship, but we just went through a rough season.
Yeah.
For me, it was more so God showing me that I kind of made the friendship an idol, if that makes sense. And it was like, this had to happen so that I didn't place this relationship over my relationship with God or my relationship, you know what I mean? Like any future relationships. It was something where it was like, okay, I feel hurt by this person. And the expectation was so high. And it was like, yeah, but like, you don't see them as human. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they can mess up too, just like you messed up. And so when we finally talked, we had an understanding of where I messed up, what I was expecting, what she was going through that I didn't know about. So then it put everything into perspective. And it was like, dang, if we really had just sat down and had a real conversation, like women to women, this could have been avoided. This whole thing could have been avoided, but it was a necessary season because now it kind of like made the love even stronger. So it's like going through that. It's like, yo, I really love you. Like you was getting on my nerves for that season.
Right.
But it's like, it's never a point where I see my life without this person being in it. So sometimes you got to go through them rough seasons to really like appreciate the people that's in your life.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. So beautiful. So beautifully said from all you guys. And, anyone that's maybe tuning in right now or going to tune in later, I challenge you to just write someone, send them a text, give them a call, tell them how much you love them, because in the end, it's all about love. It's all about, loving up on someone, being a blessing to someone else. Because we know, especially at Bethany, that when you're a blessing to someone else, that always comes back to you tenfold. So please make sure that you do that. But, we can't end without some laughter and some, a little shade thrown. So let's do our last one. Gotta go. Oh, wow. This may have been the hardest one we've ever done. We may have to bring this one back when we have Pastor Nick on, Maya, Des, and Antoine, because this is a good one. So I'm not going to go first. I want to hear what y'all have to say.
Which one gotta go?
Ooh. Oh my.
It's a toss up for me.
Who came up with this?
This is
crazy.
This is really hard.
This is really hard for me, but it's a.
We want to hear you in the comments too.
I don't want to pick.
Oh, who's gonna take the stat? Who's gonna take the first?
I'm not going first.
All right, so I'll go first. I definitely need Martin.
Yep.
I definitely need the Fresh Prince.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I definitely, I can't even speak tonight, need Moesha.
Come on.
Brandy is one of my favorite artists of all time. So, with that said, it's hard for me because each show brought something different.
It's
gonna be the Lyons Brothers for me.
Okay.
See, I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay. Me too.
I'd rather. Let me put it in perspective like this. I'd rather watch their movies than a show.
Yeah.
Are we all agreeing?
Yeah. Because I can't get rid of none of the other shows. Like
all the other shows brought something different.
Yeah.
I wish what they should have did is asked us to rank them 1 to 6
instead
of choosing one to go.
That would be even hard because we learned so many lessons from different ones. So how can you rank them, Ash?
I'd rather try to rank them.
What was your number one?
Then you rank them.
Right.
So my number 1
is
going to be Martin.
Okay.
Martin. My number 2 is going to be. It's actually probably going to be a tie between the Fresh Prince and Moesha.
You can't do ties. 1 to 6.
All right, so
how you going to do a tie?
If that's the case, then I would probably do the Fresh Prince because it came first, and then Moesha. Then I would do Living Single because Queen Latifah is my girl. Then the Jamie Foxx Show, and then the Wayans Brothers.
Okay,
so got a pretty bad rating.
The first 3, I'm kind of. I think I would switch Moesha and Fresh Prince.
Okay,
I knew you were going to do that
because, come on, Moesha had so many gems. The Parkers came from Moesha. So many things came from Moesha. Music, lessons, family lessons, so much. But Martin,
the man of God is passionate. Okay,
Will Smith will forever be.
I love Brandy. If you know me, I love Brandy.
Will Smith is my guy.
Know. I think I'll probably.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I probably would have stuck with Ashley's rating. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, girl.
I think Ashley's rating was probably for me. It was on point. I would go with that. Yeah.
How about
I
you?
think it would probably be Martin, Fresh Prince. Then Jamie Foxx show, actually.
Oh, okay.
Wow. And then Moesha. Okay. Then Living Single, because I like Living Single, but it was like if it was on, I watched it. If it wasn't on, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
And then Wayans Brothers. I love the Jamie Foxx show though. Like him and
you didn't tell me the Jamie Foxx show didn't want to make you work in a hotel. Like
right? Didn't you want to be
so lit? Like, what?
Somebody receptionist checking people in.
Right. But as always, it is a pleasure. Thank you guys that tuned in, those that commented. We love you guys. As always, it's Fresh.
Hey.
Fresh Friday. Until next time. Until next time. We love you, Bethany family. Be blessed and have a safe and blessed weekend.